Most of you don't know this, but I've been a WWE wrestling fan for over 10 years. Don't believe me?
Wait a minute! No way! Oh my God, he's back! Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me! Yes! Oh, thank God!
And if that wasn't enough, here's this. Anyway, the biggest show in WWE is obviously WrestleMania, and it's going to be having its 41st showing in Las Vegas. However, I wanted to rank the past 40 events from worst to best, but I'm going to split this up into 4 parts. Here's the first 10. My name is Drew, better known as RockChalk01, and here are the first 10 WrestleManias ranked from worst to best. Let's go. Number 10 is WrestleMania 2. Jesus, this show was horrible, and the concept was horrible to begin with. Having 3 shows from 3 different places didn't work. Anyway, the best match in my opinion was the Dream Team versus the British Bulldogs, with the worst match being Roddy Piper and Mr. T in a boxing match. This show just flat out sucked. Now at number 9, I've got WrestleMania 9. Yeah, a lot of people have this as one of the worst Manias ever. However, I think WrestleMania 2 is worse. The first time Mania went to Vegas was an absolute dud. However, it did have one good match in my eyes, and that was the Head Shrinkers versus the Steiner Brothers. The worst match? Pick your poison. I went with Hulk Hogan versus Yokozuna because that was a horrible booking decision. So, yeah, although it's not dead last, it is towards the bottom. WrestleMania 9 is at number 9. Number 8, I've got WrestleMania 4. A big freaking tournament for the vacant title, and it was over 4 hours long. This show just dragged. Anyway, the best match on the show was obviously, in my opinion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, and the worst match was obviously Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant in a double disqualification. That match was terrible. This show was too long, so it has to be here in the bottom half at number 8. Number 7, I've got WrestleMania 6. Honestly, the first time I watched this, I thought it was a much better show, but on most recent watch, this was without a doubt a one-match show, and that was Hulk Hogan versus The Ultimate Warrior. The best match on the card by far. The worst match, in my opinion, was Roddy Piper versus Bad News Brown, where Roddy Piper painted himself half black. Yeah, that's bad. Otherwise, the rest of the show is just pretty mid out of the bunch. So that's why WrestleMania 6 is at number 7. Number 6, I've got Mania 5. A lot better from the previous Mania, however, it's still mid to me out of the bunch. The best match was obviously Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage for the title. And the worst match, by far, was the Red Rooster versus Bobby Heenan in a squash match. That match was terrible. But other than that, the show was decent. So that's why it's here at number 6. Starting the top 5, at number 5 is Mania 7. This show was heavily influenced by the Gulf War, and it was prominently shown during the main event. However, this was a lot better in my eyes than on the first watch. Now, it did have some lowlights, with the worst match being the Mountie versus Tito Santana, but without a doubt, the best match on the card was Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage in the retirement match, one of the best matches in the first 7 years of Mania. Although it is more towards the middle of the pack, it's in the upper half at number 5. Number 4 is the one that started it all, WrestleMania 1. Madison Square Garden had themselves a big card. However, it did fall flat in some spots, but overall I thought it was a top 5 show out of this decade. The best match on the card was the US Express versus the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, and without a doubt the worst match was King Kong Bunny versus SD Jones in 9 seconds. But overall, I thought this show was decent, so that's why it's here at number 4. Number 3, give me Mania 8. This show had 2 incredible matches that really stood out from the rest of the card. However, I think the better one of the 2 would be the World Championship match between Ric Flair and Randy Savage. However, the main event fell flat, and it could have been higher, but It was really bad, and that was Hulk Hogan versus Sid Justice. Overall, I had fun watching this show, and I thought it was decent. So, it's here at number 3. Number 2, WrestleMania 3. This show took Mania to new heights, and it was incredible, especially because of 2 matches. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, and what I consider the best match on the card, Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat for the IC title. The worst match was the low point, and that was Hillbilly Jim versus King Kong Bundy, and each of them had 2 midget wrestlers. Yeah, it was a dud, and it ended in a DQ. Overall, Mania 3 set the bar for good Manias, however, it's not the best, so I have to put it at number 2. And finally, number 1, WrestleMania 10. Through the first 16 years of Mania history, this was without a doubt the best Mania of all time. Now, it has since slipped, but it's still a great show. There was only one fluke that I could really remember, and that was Earthquake versus Atom Bomb, and it was just because it was a squash. But this show had incredible matches left and right, most notably Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels for the IC title in a ladder match, and what I consider the best match, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart in the opener, a 5-star classic. Overall, out of the first 10 Manias, WrestleMania 10 is the best one. And that's going to do it for my ranking of the first 10 WrestleManias from worst to best. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Also, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and push that notification bell. Tell your friends about these videos, and I should see you again when the next one comes out. But until then, have a good day. Never ever bring exotic dancers to the field house, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.